Greetings and welcome to the channel. It's the Cranky Arborist back with you to help rescue the internet from myths, bad practices, and scientific ignorance, one tree and landscape plant at a time. So some of you have been wondering like, well, okay, so you're this cranky arborist. What's the big deal? Well, the big deal is in addition to being a cranky arborist, I'm a consulting arborist and a lecturer and a trainer, and I train people from all over the country and all over the world sometimes on advanced arboriculture and all the nerdy stuff that's really important to understand. I mean, these are living organisms, so if you don't understand how the processes involved with how living organisms actually live and survive and propagate and all that, probably shouldn't be working with living things. That's just my crazy theory. But the other thing about it is I actually owned a premium services landscaping company for about 20 years. So I've been nose to nose in nature for about 25 years, and I've learned a lot. Now, most of that, I would say, is probably just through trial and error, making mistakes. I'm really good at making mistakes, and I'm not half bad at actually learning from my mistakes. I'm also innately and insanely curious. So if I don't know something, I try to figure it out. And what I found is most people are either not really interested in doing that or they're just too busy to do that. So I figured, okay, well, I'll kind of do it and then share it with people. I didn't start out with that as the goal, but that's ended up where I'm at here. So I'm a teacher and a trainer, and I enjoy doing it. I'm also a talker. So I come out and do videos like this trying to educate people. So again, if you're not really into nerd stuff and science, which I think you should be, maybe cat videos are more your speed. But the point is, if you have a landscape and you got a problem in your landscape, everybody's like, what's wrong? What's going on? So I learned this stuff and have learned this, and I'm just sharing it with you so maybe I can help out. So there's a lot of things to understand. The main thing for me is what I call the processes. Understanding the processes of how things do what they do. If you're going to work with living organisms, you probably should understand how living organisms work. So you're not going to be as nerdy as me because that's just my nature, and I have lots of time to be nerdy. I'm old enough and near enough to retirement that I can just spend time nerding out and reading research studies, which I love to do. I've read thousands of research studies over the years and try to incorporate that into what I see in the landscape. And really, I use science and research to be able to interpret what I'm seeing in the landscape. So a few things that I wanted to share with you. First off, as a consulting arborist, I get calls all the time. Oh my God, there's something on my tree. There's something on the leaves of my tree. There's something on my plant. There's something on my lawn even. Because I've got a landscaping background, I even get called to walk people around their lawn, their yard saying, hey, what's going on here? And because I've been doing this for so long, I can actually do that because I've figured it out. If I didn't know what it was, I learned. So again, just as an FYI for the videos, these are unedited, unscripted, raw, just I do it until I can't do it anymore or until something bites me or chases me off the property or whatever. So if you're looking for finely polished stuff, you might not find it here. Entertaining and informative, I'm hoping that I can help out in that area. So I get calls from people all the time, hey, there's something growing on my tree. And they're probably right. Lots of things grow on trees. Now what we have to figure out is it a problem? And what is that problem, and is there a solution for that? So I wanted to come out and show you this. We can start with this here. Now it looks kind of dark here because we had a lot of rain last night, so the bark is actually dark here. But this is a very lovely white oak tree. So I'm just hanging out here in this woodland in the middle of the city. So this is just they just let it go wild, which is great, which is awesome. The trees don't need our help. They've been growing themselves a lot longer than we have. But this is a white oak tree, Quercus alba, if you want to know the Latin, if you're a fan of taxonomy, which most normal humans are not. But you can see this, that there looks like there's something going on here with this. The bark here, it looks darker, it's all wet, but then it looks lighter here. So when it's not covered in, wet from rain or whatever, it's actually much lighter than this. But you can see this up and down the tree. Oh no, something terrible is happening to my tree. Well, something is happening to your tree. Thankfully, it's not terrible. If you have a white oak or a swamp white oak, which is in my area, I'm in the Great Lakes region of North America, this is very common on oaks and white oaks, sometimes tulip tree. It may be something different in your area. So I always defer to where people are at. I mean, hey, what do I know about trees in Southern California or in Maine or Estonia? But in my area, and you might recognize this is actually referred to as called smooth patch of oak. And it makes these little patches here. And sometimes the patches will continue to grow over the years. Now, the interesting thing about this is caused by a fungus. The fungus actually gets into the outer bark here and does what it does, and eventually the bark ends up falling off in little pieces there. And that's it. it stops there. It's simply on the outer layer of bark. Now you can see an outer layer of bark here. You can also see the next layer of bark underneath that. All it does is consume, or whatever the organism actually does, and it just affects the outer bark. It doesn't go any further. It doesn't harm the tree. But again, people just assume since it's progressing, it's getting worse. It's nature being nature, so we need to enjoy things like that. So anyway, this is called smooth patch of oak. It is not harmful. It's not indicative of any sign except for the fungal organism is like, hey, here's an oak tree, and I'm going to do this to the tree. So this is what it does. So this is really important because this can keep us from doing bad things to trees. Now, one of the reasons I tell people I'm a cranky arborist, because if you'd stop doing bad things to trees, I wouldn't be so cranky. It was started out as a joke, but it's not a joke anymore. So I've embraced it. So again, the cranky arborist, and I'm here to share everything that I've learned over the last 25 years, because you know what they say, you can't take it with you. So smooth patch of oak is not a problem on your white oaks and your swamp white oak trees. So hopefully that will relieve a little, stress, laying awake at night going, what's happening to our tree? So if you know somebody that's got oaks or white oaks and they have something like this, you can explain that to them. Send them to the channel. So thanks for coming along. I do appreciate it. I'll give you tips and wisdom. If you're nice, I might even answer questions. You gotta be nice though. So otherwise, I will see you on the next episode. So thanks for coming along.